What's going on, everybody? I got Justin Weinrich from Morph Jungle down in Boca Raton, Florida. One of my old Florida running guys that I used to hang out with a bit. Going to join me for the first time on the show tonight. Stick around. Thanks for being here. Let's get right to it. What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday night. Sorry, I turned down my headphone volume for that intro and then I couldn't hear myself. Happy Tuesday night. Thanks for being here. It's 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It's 7 o'clock here in Minnesota. We got a little, I don't want to say this too loud. We got a little shipping window, if you know what I'm saying. Like it's early February thaw, man. It is wonderful, man. The sun was out. We got up to like 45 degrees today. I think by the end of the week, we're going to crack 50. Beautiful, man. We've been through it. So I'm excited right now. I'm feeling like rejuvenated. Those of you all pondering moving to Minnesota, if you are, everybody tells you about the cold. Nobody tells you about the gray days, the long gray, like you don't see the sun for 3-4 days. And then the other thing is how short the days are. Man, they're so short. But you start to realize that like the shortest day of the year is December 21st. So I'm almost like 2 months past the shortest day. Like I'm stoked that it's light out till like 5:20 right now. So anyway, I feel like we're emerging, but it's like a fake spring. I know that that's what's coming. So thanks for being there tonight. I got Justin from Morph Jungle. We've known each other for a long time, but never really connected. Like we were just talking in the green room. Like we know a lot of the same people. We came up around the same people. I vended a lot of the shows that Justin did, but I'm excited to hang out tonight, get to know him a little bit better, and introduce you in the audience to him. If you haven't met him, you should. And those of you that have met or are familiar with Justin, you know why he's a guest on the show tonight. So just a couple quick announcements, and we'll get right to it. First off, thanks to Scaled Up Expos in Madison, Wisconsin. Went out to Madison, had a good time. That was it's a fun city. Everybody kept telling me, dude, you got to go downtown. That's where the fun is. And I was like, I can't go looking for fun tonight. I have to work all day on my feet and then drive home 4.5 hours afterwards. That doesn't equate to going out and having fun. So like, I'm thinking maybe I need a second night in Madison next time. We'll see. But if I got to meet you out there in Madison, thanks so much. I appreciate you coming out. I'll be back. I'll do the rest of the Scaled Up Expo shows there this year in Madison. I am at the point, this is like the announcement. This is the good announcement here. I'm at the point in my operation where I'm full on size. I'm full on capacity. I don't want to expand anymore because that would require a second person, and I don't want to hire people, not because I don't like people, but because they're expensive. And what I'm saying is I got some stuff that's got to go this Friday the 13th, which I didn't realize, but I'm not that superstitious, so maybe it just sounds cool. Friday the 13th, 4 o'clock Eastern time, 3 o'clock Central here in Minnesota. I'll be doing an auction on Palm Street. 42 animals, all of them, every one of them are starting at a $1 starting bid. No reserve, actual auction, no games. Get their bid, buy these. I got to move them out. I'm not trying to undercut the market. I'm certainly not getting out, anything like that. But the fact is I got to make room, and sometimes you just make some decisions that you got to live with. And this is that time. So I've got breeder females that are going up for auction. I've got breeder males. I've got pieds, clowns, ultra males, a puzzle het hypo male. That'll be on auction. I've got a bunch of het puzzle females that are going on auction, a ton of gravel stuff, gravel and clown, gravel and axanthic, gravel and no, not ultramel yet. I'm holding all those back. Anyway, all kinds of stuff, all going on auction on Palm Street. So 4 o'clock on Friday, let's clear these out. Everything's going to start at $1. They will sell. We're going to sell, like it's going to go. I got to get this out of here. And no real games. I'm going to try and make the shipping as actual as possible, but on Palm Street, you have to put in an actual number. So the 7-inch boxes will be $45. The ones, the 9x7x12s will be, I don't know, 55 or 60, but you can fill the box. So I'll make it right with you. I'll square up with you on shipping and all of that. So anyway, come on out to Palm Street and check it out. If you don't have the app, download the app, load up your wallet, and come hang out and join the rodeo on $1 bids. You got payday Friday. You got tax season. You got $1. You don't even need paydays or tax season. Just come, just get these things out of the way for me. There is cool stuff, I promise you. So come check it out. And like I say, proven breeders that I've already made my money on, I need them to move on to good homes that to other breeders that will put them to use. So males and females on proven breeders. Hope to see you there. Justin Weinrich, I met Justin, would have had to have been in 2021, coming out of COVID, kind of still the boom time. And I was vending on the Repticon circuits. And I can remember, in the Orlando Repticon, he vended like down at the end of the aisle towards one of the entrances. And I was sort of in the middle of the room. I remember walking by his table and seeing sunsets on the table and being like, is this guy going to go anywhere with these things? Is anything going to happen with these things? What's going to happen? Like, cause and I don't remember the price at the time, but they were the most expensive thing in the room, I think, that I saw anyway. And it was a cool display. It was a big display. And I was like, all right, I got my one little, ARS 3-tier display. But, like I said, I never got to know him real well, but always says hi, always cool to see it. Tinley. He's got a new, we're going to talk about this a little bit too. He's got a new podcast with some of the very best people that I've ever known in the industry and that I literally wouldn't be here without. Dale Roberts, Steve Casino, Jeremy Baud, and Miguel as well for Perfectly Engineered Reptiles. All those guys, man, those were like the people that looked out for me and got me off the ground. Like the first person to ever invite me to their facility or to try and teach me anything in person was Jeremy Baud. Like these are good dudes. So I'm excited. Please welcome for the very first time to the Proper Royal stage from Morph Jungle, Justin Weinrich. Justin, how you doing tonight, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
I am good. I'm good. I regret saying all that. I regret that I moved away. I was like, how did I not connect more with this guy there? I don't know. It just seemed like you were like, I was here and you had your sunset.
I don't know
like, you were killing it, man.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. Thanks for, like I say, thanks for being here. How's Florida these days, man?
Good. We're really warm right now. It's probably like in the 80s today. So we had a little bit of a cold snap there for a little bit, but we're back to business back here.
Yeah, my dad lives in Jacksonville still. He was like, it's going to be 24. I was like, Dad, that's 40 degrees warmer than it is here right now.
That's ridiculous. I mean, it's still like, even at night, it still gets down to like the, high 50s.
Right.
Just, nice. But yeah, during the day, it's, back to business as usual.
And I asked you this in the green room, so I know the answer, but you're down in Boca.
Correct. Yeah.
Why is it? It never seemed like there was much of a show scene. There's lots of shows like Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, Daytona. Of course, it feels like they don't get much south of there. What's up in South Florida?
There's actually a show this weekend in West Palm Beach.
Yeah,
and they do a couple of shows there at time of year. That's pretty much as south as they go. They've attempted shows down south, and for whatever reason, they just. Actually, I take that back. There is one show down south. It's called Pembroke Pines.
Pembroke Pines in Miami,
that
right?
show is very. How do we put it? It's the only reason I do it is because it's 40 minutes from my house.
Okay. All right. There you go.
It's definitely not the best show.
Yeah.
I just feel like, the vibe down there is that most people from up North Florida don't want to, go that far down south. But like the more central region, people from, north or, say for Orlando example, it's so centrally located. People from like Jacksonville and up north will dive down, and people from Miami will come up. So that's what I think that show does so well, because it's so centralized.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, there's not, if you're already in South Florida, there's nobody. It's not like people. It's not like people are coming up from the Keys or enough volume to make it.
I think stuff in South Florida. You're coming from Jacksonville, for example. That's an easy 5-hour drive.
Easy. Oh yeah. My mom lived in Homestead, so I made that drive plenty of times, man. Yeah. Well, good, man. Thank you for being here. I like I say, I'm glad to connect, glad to hang out a little bit. Tell me about kicking off this podcast that you're doing with the guys.
Yeah, so I mean, it's the five of us. It's kind of us. It's all talking, and basically our group chat conversations and in-person conversations and phone calls kind of come into life, and we're just talking about pretty much ever. There's no real direction ever. We're just kind of just random topics, stuff we like to talk about, and honestly, it's just us having a good time is what it really is.
Yeah, which is easy to do with those guys. Like, what I don't think most people understand. Maybe you can explain it better or put it in better words. First, in Florida, all the shows are 2-day shows, whereas up here in the Midwest, they're 1-day shows. But the dinner hangs are the best, and you guys had the best. And it always seemed like Steve was kind of the ringleader of where the dinner was going to be.
He puts a lot of those together, and that's also our podcast is about too. We all go to those dinners together, and the same kind of conversations we have at dinner we have on the podcast. So if people can't make it to those shows, what we do, it's kind of their way of tuning into it, shall I say?
Those dinners are where I learned the most. I mean, Dale was kind enough to let me to come vend with or like work for him vending. I was selling his stuff just to come like see how it worked. But then I would go to the dinners afterwards, and man, that's where like you hear what I don't want to like. It's almost like what happens at the dinner stays at the dinner, but like
sure, no, absolutely.
but you start hearing like what people sold stuff for, what works, what the insights to like what the grind is like, the reality of sometimes you see prices, then the reality of what the deal is, or hey, you're working this project, what are you seeing? The whole world of again, maybe I'm spilling too much, but the whole world of like wholesale, like guys, I got to move these, who's doing what, who needs what, like, and it was so enlightening. And when I was saying those guys were mentors and such a help to me, it's absolutely the truth. Those guys were at the top of the list for me in Florida, man. There's just a fantastic crew of guys.
No, they're all great people. They really are, such great people to hang out with. Actually, Dale unfortunately won't be able to make it this weekend, but this weekend in West Palm, Steve will be there, Jeremy will be there, Miguel may make an appearance. So gangs, so almost all back together as well for this show.
Nice. What's the promoter? Is that the Scales show?
Reptilian Nation.
Oh, Reptilian Nation. Excuse me. Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. So same venue though. They do Scales. They do Reptilian Nation, and there's also it's called the Zane's World Expo. They do at the same venue.
Huh. Okay.
There.
What is the venue?
It's a South Florida Fairgrounds.
Nice. Okay.
West Palm Beach. So that's it's always a good area. It's kind of centralized for people from a little bit up north will travel, same kind of thing. People from down south, so it's a really good location. Can fit a lot of people too. I mean that show it's easily a 10,000 plus people show every time.
I was going to say it seems like a big show when the ones that I've seen there, they seem pretty big that are there. Before I lose track, what's the name of the podcast? When is it? How do people see it? All that. How do people come hang out with you there?
It's called It's called Tales from the Snake Room. We're trying to do it. We'll definitely do it on Fridays around 7:00. We're trying to do like at least 2 a month. As far as the days, they kind of random because, unfortunately with 5 people, we all have different schedules. So it's really hard sometimes to make everything work perfect. But the idea is to have it on the second Friday and the fourth Friday of every month.
Wow. Okay. When Jeremy was telling me about it at the very beginning, he was talking about once a month. So
that's cool. That was the original plan. Yeah. Once a month. And then we're going to try to do it twice. Not everyone's going to be able to make it. That's just what happens. Like even the next one, I actually may not be able to make it. But it's going to be on, it's all on YouTube under Tales from the Snake Room.
Yeah. So, Aaron at Beast Morphs, that's the name of the channel is Tales from the Snake Room. It's its own channel, right? That's right, Justin?
Yeah, correct. It's its own thing.
Okay, cool. There we go. Well, go check that out, guys. Like I say, if you don't know the people I'm talking about, like I would say this whether Justin was on or not, man. Like I say, those every one of those guys, I could give you a very specific story of how they helped me. And shout out where credit's due, their wives as well, man. Those guys all hit it out of the park, man. They're still watching that ball travel out of those parks, man. It was fantastic ladies in their lives too, supporting them as usual, So, well, cool. For people that don't know you, give yourself a little introduction. How long I found I found pictures dating back to 2016 when you were posting about ball pythons. How long have you been at this?
I've actually been doing this since 2006. It's actually when I first came to ball pythons. Yeah, I was 7 years old. I'm 26 now. So yeah, I've been breeding ball pythons, like actually making clutches probably since like 2009-ish. 2000.
Wow, I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, I've done it my whole life. I've literally grown up in this industry. I've seen everything.
Where did that start? I mean, how if you were doing it,
yeah. So I was
a 9-year-old kid.
Yeah, I was one of those kids. I was always interested in reptiles. I've had it all, man. I've had alligators. I've had sharks. I've had tree ticks, monitors. You name it. I've had it. My dad
so you had a shark. What kind of shark did you have?
I had at my house. I had a 600-gallon shark tank in the middle of my baby room. So I had the incubator on one side, baby rack on the other, and then I had a Port Jackson. I had like stingrays. I had a coral cat, white spotted bamboo, and abandoned bamboo. So no, real sharks. It's not big enough for them.
Yeah,
but no, it was cool. I used to hand feed them and all that.
That's cool, but also not the little BS ones they call sharks that are like
no, these are legit, like they're like 2.5, 3 feet long.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Okay,
so that's cool. Fun. It's just been a wild ride. Really growing up in this industry, seeing how everything started, it's changed dramatically. I mean, I remember seeing. My first snake I still have her was actually 2006 was a spider.
Yeah.
So back then I think that snake was $4,000 back then.
Yeah.
And you got to think bumblebees were the rage, pastels, spiders, lesser bees,
right.
Single gene calicos. I remember, selling those all day long for $1,000 no matter what. It was a wild world back then.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Where, if I can ask, or maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's out of line, but where, what were your parents doing? I mean, you obviously weren't going out and buying sharks.
No, so my dad is, my dad was super supportive. He really helped me get into this.
I don't mean from a financial standpoint. I mean, from like an interest in like, allow their kid to have, all these animals.
I've always been into reptiles, a big fan of Steve Irwin growing up. So, my dad kind of, we went to the Daytona show is really where it all started. Going to our first Daytona show, seeing, just the crazy, animals that they had back then, and, kind of just, seeing the different morphs and stuff like that. And my dad kind of just helped me because I was really interested in it. My dad kind of supported me and helped me get started. So, it was super cool with him. He's super supportive of my dream. And
yeah, that's fantastic. And now is this your full-time gig?
It's been my full-time, completely full-time since 2019.
2019. Wow. A long time at it. So, and obviously 2019 was pre-COVID. Not to make every show about the market, I know it gets old, but if like most people you talk to haven't seen it for that long, what do you think of the ups and downs? Does it feel more normal now? Does it feel subpar for where like 2019 was at? Or what do you think from like even the 5 years when maybe it was part-time before that?
So I think, even if doing it as the hobby for a long time, because, when I said I do it, I mean, not to get back to that, but I've been breeding snakes, doing shows for, since 2012, 2013. So like I've seen it all. I feel like now it's coming more so back to normal how things were. We were basically like, it's like a spike, kind of like a mountain. Like we're here, we get up here because of COVID, and now we're back down here. But in reality, we're kind of level to where we were before. And I feel like that's where a lot of, the shock comes from, because nobody else was here, everybody was up here and saw this, but no one actually saw how it was before.
Yeah.
So people aren't really used to that.
Have you, in your opinion, I realize that this is sort of a loaded question, but in your opinion, do you feel like we've bounced off the bottom yet? Like,
I'll be honest. And as far as like, for me, for the past 3 years since COVID, this past January was the best January I've had. In fact, I doubled my previous sales.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I feel like things are on an upturn for me personally.
Right. And that's why I sort of, I led with like, it's a loaded question. Like it's a sample size of like one person or like our own little echo chamber. But yeah, my fourth quarter, and then into January were the best. The fourth quarter of 2025 was my best quarter I've ever had. Now it's probably because I hatched some of the best stuff I've ever had. Sure. So, that plays into it.
There's a lot of factors.
But it feels like there's less of a surplus of vendors. And I know there's still, ball pythons are still probably the most vended in a market, although Cresties are getting there. But it does feel like there's a little bit more of a balance of, here's the demand, here's the suppliers, and they're a little bit more in tune versus like you're talking about the peak of the mountain, very few suppliers, very high demand.
Yeah.
And then 3 years later, the complete opposite. And maybe we're kind of leveling out.
Yeah,
I don't know. Again, small sample size, but I feel like I've seen that too.
No, I mean, and it's always been like this, really. It's like, I mean, obviously COVID, I feel like made it the spike the highest, but ever since I've been doing this, it's always gone up and down. So there's always been, upward trends and downward trends, upward tension. And this COVID, I feel like, with the stimulus checks and all this stuff, so many more people got in then that it made the spike a bit higher than normal too also. But like, yeah, same thing. Supply and demand, I feel like, as people get out, the demand will get higher and things will even start to go in an upward turn, which I think we're starting to see now. Especially like in these shows and stuff like that. A lot of these people that I used to see betting these shows, either got out or don't want to do it anymore, do less shows. And at the end of the day, less competition is less competition. So that takes too.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Shoot, I'm sorry. I had something right at the forefront of my mind. Well, anyhow, it'll come back to me. Tell us about what's like your workspace like? What's your facility like? What does that look like? And how do you operate? What's your workflow like?
All my animals are in I have a commercial warehouse. Keep everything at around like 950 square feet. So I have a, garage area. And then I have where like supplies, boxes, whatever. I keep it there. And then I have basically my animals in like 3 separate rooms. First room being, when you first walk in, it's where the incubators are.
I'm sorry, this is all within the 900 square feet?
Yeah, all within the 900.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
When I first walk in, I have like an incubator area, like a couch and stuff like that. And then I have, I have like a bathroom. I have a little sink area for washing tubs. But then my main 2 rooms where I keep the animals are, my first room would be my baby room where I keep all the babies. And then I have I have some sub-adults in there too. And then the second room is my main adult room. Yeah.
Do you keep them separate just because that's how the facility was laid out?
Yeah, that's how it's laid out. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So when I got this unit, it used to be, it worked out perfectly. It's fully, central AC, but it was office space inside a warehouse. So that someone already pre-built it out. So it was super convenient for me. All I had to do was knock down like 1 or 2 walls, and then everything was perfect. So
yeah,
I got really lucky with that.
Very nice. Do you? And I love this nerdy business stuff. Do you rent? Do you own it? Is it a condo situation? You rent it. Okay, cool. And is it one-man show, or you have other people that you bring?
I have my buddy Jack from Performance Pythons. He's in there as well. He's got a couple animals. He doesn't have too many. He's probably got like maybe 200 so total.
Okay.
So there's actually a little side room when you right behind the incubators too. So he keeps most of his stuff in there. But he's also got like a rack or 2 within those 2 rooms. Yeah. So he's the same thing. He's got some babies in the first room, and then also adults in the other room too. So it fills up the space really well. I mean, we have plenty of space in there because with just me in there, it's more than I need, especially with keeping everything in rack systems.
I was gonna say, like, people don't. I didn't realize how far space really can go.
For sure.
I'm in a dedicated it's 16 by 32, 480 square foot. It's a single bay of a car wash. Actually, if you haven't heard the story, that's that's a whole different story. But it's amazing, and I'm like, I don't want to. Like I was talking about earlier in the show, I don't want to expand because I'll need to bring somebody else on, and I've got plenty. I mean, that's a lot of space, man. And now it's packed, and there's no extra heated or extra cooled space in there. I'll tell you that much. It's packed, but I do have my rodents in there too. So even if I didn't have the rodents, that would be even double what I'm doing in snakes. So what do you do for rodents?
I do not breed my own rodents. I purchased my own rodents. So like if I would like to one day breed my own rodents. I mean, it's a big cost factor.
Right.
So that would cut things down as well. I mean, the main goal for me is, I want to eventually buy a property where I could have 2 separate buildings, one for the snakes, one for the rodents.
Yeah.
Which actually, my good buddy Dale from Constricted, he's actually in the process of finishing his, and it's beautiful. It's going to be awesome.
I saw the pictures, man. It looks nice, man. It looks really nice. Yeah. If I wouldn't say if I had it to do over, I think this is just a step in my own process or progress. But yeah, I would like the rodents in a separate facility, man. The rodents being in the same, I built a wall down the middle, so they're mostly separated, and then I have like the industrial commercial flaps like you'd find into a walk-in cooler or a a refrigerated warehouse. So it keeps the dust and stuff and the dander separate, but I would like them separate if
the same AC system.
Well, so right now, I actually don't have an AC system. I just have an exhaust system being in Minnesota. I know that sounds crazy from a Florida perspective. It sounds insane, right? But I just turn on the exhaust system and bring in fresh, cool air. And that's it. Now this summer it did spike into the 90s here and I had to get a portable AC, which I didn't care for. I'm going to put a mini split in and it's going to be on the, obviously the side where the snakes are without the, so that hopefully the dust and the dander doesn't get there. But yeah, if I had it to do separate, I would put, I'd just put that exhaust. I'd put the rodents. I do have 2 more bays eventually. I just got to decide if I want a car wash or not because it does pay for itself. So it's kind of nice, but I'm figuring that out. And then, but the heat in Minnesota in the wintertime, this radiant floor heat is the most, from being from Florida, it's the most wild thing I've ever seen, man. It is so efficient. I've had a better time keeping everything reptiles warm in the winter than I did keeping everything cool in the summertime.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like here, obviously it's all about the high heat, so it's really about ACs and stuff like that. But even for like the rodents and stuff, I know AC isn't really needed. It's more so like the exhaust fan system that's most important. Airflow is really big with them.
Yeah, so I mean, I've got fans everywhere, and even that exhaust system. Even this time of year, I still run it about 4 hours a day, bringing in fresh, cold air. And now, like I say, it sounds crazy, but even with it being at like 45 degrees today, it was plenty warm. I had the door open. Like it's crazy how efficient the heat is in those spaces, and the rodents put off a lot of heat, so that actually kind of helps. But enough about me. We're here. We're here for you, man. I know what I was gonna ask earlier when we were still on the topic of kind of the ups and downs in the markets. What do you change when you see these spikes or when you see these valleys?
Kind of, I mean, I've always done the same thing. Really, so I haven't changed a whole lot. I've always produced things that I personally like, and I feel like that just works for me. I work on projects that I, want to see done and stuff that I want to see accomplished. Like I'm never one of those people that chases other people's projects.
Right.
I feel like that's actually like the new people getting in. I feel like that's the worst thing people could do is try to chase something else. Because the thing is, like, let's say if you get started for a project right now, right, and you're trying to chase the hottest thing. Well, 3 years from now, by the time you start producing that, we're going to be long past that and on something else. So I just feel like, focusing on something that you personally like is really helpful. And as far as for shows and stuff like that, there are some things I do breed separately. Besides the byproduct from the stuff I personally like, there is certain things like I'll produce like lately I've been doing a lot of banana freeway combos and stuff like that. And
they're so good, man. I saw your
they're beautiful.
Yeah, I saw your post on the asphalt. Yeah, man.
So like that kind of stuff is something that one of the different things I've changed. So because it's like something that draws attention and it's not super expensive. So those are really good for shows. But other than that, I've done things mostly the same. To be honest.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the market dictates pricing to an extent because you're going to go out of business if not. But how beholden to that do you feel? Do you feel like you have to be really aggressive on it? Do you have to be the leader when I say leader, like the cheapest or the most expensive? Where do you philosophically find yourself pricing things?
I'm pretty fair, man. I gotta admit, like I'm pretty I never want to be the most expensive guy. I never want to be the cheapest guy. I kind of just be fair with everybody. I feel like and I price things for what I think they should be worth too. Obviously I take the market into fact. I take other things in there. I kind of price based off Morph market, other things I see. I feel like if we all stick together on stuff, there's no reason to race to zero. That's
hallelujah. Yeah, we could end the show right there, guys. Just play that over and over. Like I'm not advocating for price fixing. There are market forces that are real. But you also can ask a fair price and back it with a brand and a service and all of that, And so, I believe in that very strongly as well. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm definitely not the cheapest guy. There's for sure. I've told other people, customers too that message me like, for example, people say, well, I've seen this one for this much. Well, it's like, all right, cool. Well, I'm not, I never said I was the cheapest guy out here.
Right.
But, I stand by my animals. I stand by, the genetics behind them and all that. So like, to me, that's more important, the quality of stuff.
I think just like I put on the thumbnail, I think the staying power, I think knowing that you're there, you're accessible, look, I know everybody's got a podcast. I get it. I'm the guy. But on the other hand, you can access me. I can be found. I do have a brand that I have to stand behind. So the value proposition to screw somebody over for a few $100 or even a few $1,000 makes zero sense to do that. So all of those things I think can command a little bit of a, not even necessarily a higher price, but a firmness on a price that you're confident in. Yeah,
exactly.
On, like I say, I love this business nerd stuff. On your business model, and I don't know how much you want to get into it, but was there, I'll just ask, and then we can back into like the philosophical part of it. Rent is expensive, rats are expensive, and you're not a small operation. I personally found that I had to find a way. So instead of paying rent, I ended up buying the business. I bought the business of the car wash so I could have the business income from it. When it comes to rodents, I breed my own ASFs, and then I work closely with Cold Blooded Cafe as well. And there's some benefits there. Of course, that's a business arrangement. Where did you find that? I mean, I guess what I'm asking is you probably had to get to a certain level of sales or a certain caliber of animals to make what you're doing work. Can you talk about that, or can you talk about bumps in the road, or figure out how you got there?
Yeah, I mean, my expenses are definitely high, especially living here in South Florida. I mean,
sure. Oh, well, yeah, that's true too.
Not related to even snakes, just personal expenses alone.
Yeah.
I definitely, that's something I'm continuing to work on as far as, trying to better that. I think my main goal will help a lot of things with me as far as like getting, building the property that I want, having everything under one roof. I think that my expenses down a lot, because I don't own where I live either. I rent there also.
Okay.
So I pay rent on that, and I pay rent for the facility, and I purchase rodents. So like if I can cut all that out and make it one thing, that would obviously cut the expenses down a lot. Especially, here in Florida, everything's ridiculously expensive. So that's there too. And, there's just, there's definitely certain numbers I have to hit, to make things worth it. And, but, I make it happen. So,
Well, and that's really, I mean, that was really I know maybe, I hope it didn't come across backhanded, but like, that's a complimentary statement, because as somebody who I can attest to, it is very, very hard to make $1 at the end of the year. And that's with a handful of animals. And then, I decide a couple of years ago, I'm going to, up the game and get a commercially legit place, and the facility and the real estate and the accounting and everything else that goes with it. Man, it's hard. So I meant that genuinely and as a compliment, man. That's a hard thing to accomplish. So, anyhow, congratulations on it. I hope that I wish you luck in continuing on that, of course. And having a buddy like Dale and him showing off what he's got going. He's got a ranch, man.
That's the goal. That's the real goal for sure. There was something like I wouldn't say I necessarily focused on it back then. It was more so just trying to build the collection. I didn't really focus on the other stuff.
Right.
But now that I've got things where I really want them to be, that's my next big jump. I could have done this a long time ago, obviously, but I wanted to build the collection to the way I wanted it to first, and then do this after. So things are going along in the way I want them to. So I'm happy about that.
I forget too, because in the one breath you tell us you've been at this for almost 20 years, and at the other breath you tell me that you're 26. Tell me to get off your ass. You got time, man. You got keep doing your thing. You got life. You're great.
That's man. The thing is, I know those people I feel like I don't, right? Like I feel like I should have did this yesterday,
right.
So I think that's that's values that my dad has been implementing into me. So he's a big it just makes me he is the reason I am who I am. So for that you got plenty good you don't need my insight is what I'm saying. You got plenty of good foundation to roll on, man. Good for you, man. I spent a long time in restaurants, and there were a lot of people that were like, "You've been at it how long?" And then but I started when I was 15. So I mean, I don't know, I think I was
26, and I was, my restaurant was a PGA Tour headquarters, and at TPC Sawgrass, and I just remember people like having those aha moments, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, you're doing just fine, man. You're just fine." Anyway, very cool. You talked about working projects that you really like, and I know you for your sunset innovations, but I would say those are probably the last 6, 7 years, 8 years, something like that. Yeah. What were some of the projects before then that got you going? Because I think what I would hate for people to feel like is that they're like, oh, this guy just bought some sunsets at the right time and poof, now he's this big deal and he could sell these expensive snakes. Cause I mean, it's like whenever somebody says they're overnight sensation. Yeah. 10 years in the making, right? Or 20 years. What were some of the things like beforehand, before you were able to get into something?
I mean, my favorite gene has always been GHI. So a lot of stuff surrounding that. I mean, GHI clown combos, mainly, back then it was different too. It wasn't as necessarily recessive based as it is now. So a lot of it was just making really cool combo, codom stuff, making GHI hypo combos that are really cool, super GHIs, GHI blackhead stuff. I remember I was one of the first people, actually, well, I'll go back. I did bamboo really heavy back in the day too, but I actually had Desert Ghost back in 2015.
Oh, really?
So that was kind of a big regret. Like I did some Desert Ghost stuff, and then people didn't like it back then because people were insinuated with it with that desert.
Yeah,
they dumped everything and traded towards bamboo, which necessarily wasn't the best decision I've ever made. But it's how I really, it worked out for me either way. I made some really cool animals, so it was just like it was a different world back then. There wasn't as much stuff we have today. A lot of stuff wasn't as popular. So like the goals of trying to make stuff was just completely different. But like I said back then, even too, making the same stuff that I really enjoyed making. Trying to think one of actually the coolest combos I made back then was it was a bamboo red xanthic calico. I remember making that probably like 2016 area. That was just a super cool animal. I mean, the bright white sides, bamboo pattern, really, really pretty.
I'm still a sucker for red xanthic. I still breed it, man. People, they're great, and I think that there's cyclical things. I think people, any gene is just one great combo away from it being hot again or whatever it is, Sure. But which is exactly the reason, like you say, work what makes you happy and find the best stuff within that. But yeah, there's so many genes that have been out there. And I wouldn't say overlooked, but almost forgotten, like, oh, it's been around forever, so everything must be done with it. Man, I don't even think I've seen a red xanthic super gravel like that. It's not that
exactly,
hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not that hard to make. And I think now that I'm sitting there saying it out loud, I think that's going to look amazing.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And even like with some super gravel, like hypo stuff, like you don't even really see much of that. And I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, even with freeway, like I make so much freeway stuff. I'm like, and thinking about like, there's not much of it made with other recessive stuff. Like clown's obviously been made, pie's been made, but like hypo, ultramel, like that stuff has, been slept on.
I know it's so right. Like, gravel, super gravel is that's my, when you say work something that makes you happy, that was the one. I mean, I still remember the very first super gravel I saw, and I was like, what is that?
Shane made them back in the day. Shane Herbold, he came out with his line of highway stuff that came from originally Bill Brandt. He was trying to make basically what happened is he had a yellow belly and he traded a random lady because he used to breed rodents for another yellow belly, trying to make ivories, and that's how he made the first highways.
Oh, really? And it was a gravel instead of a yellow belly? Yeah.
And then so he was the second person to ever make highways besides Bill Brandt.
Uh-huh.
And then he was the second person also to make super gravels also. I remember that was that had to be like same kind of era, like 2015, 2016, 2014 area.
Mm-hmm.
That was just, everyone lost their minds with that.
I mean, I remember it just being, and this was in 2021 probably. I just remember saying, that looks amazing. It's only 2 copies of a gene. It's relatively inexpensive. And then I go on Morph Market and I'm like, well, what's an xanthic one of those look like? Not there. It wasn't at the time. What's a clown look like? Oh, there's one there, and that's badass. What is an ultramel look? No, not there. And I was like, all right, I'm excited. And I could pick them up relatively cheap too, man.
Yeah,
so I bought, for like 2 years, I bought every super gravel I could get my hands on, man. I still love them. I'm still excited.
I remember that's a lot of stuff. Actually, back to your first question before, 2019 stuff. I made a lot of highway stuff, a lot of freeway stuff, even back then, before COVID. And I guess I've always liked those. Obviously, I still love them now. They're cool. They're just, they go so well with like other jeans too because of the contrast,
right?
The pattern and stuff like that is just super funky, and they're just beautiful. They age, well too. It's one of those jeans that like they look great as adults, just like they do as babies.
Some of them do, and I like. So you brought up hypo a minute ago. One of my questions has always been like, what can I add to this thing? Because I want it to keep there's just that vibrant. So like the color, the pattern, and the contrast as it ages. And she really helps with the yellows in it and bringing some oranges and reds as well. But what would you, if you were like, okay, I could go hypo with it, I could go DG. What would be something that you think would preserve like the basic super gravel version? Obviously Ultramel is going to change it. Axanthic's going to change it.
I guess if you're the question is whether hypo or DG, I would go hypo all day.
Yeah. And why? What makes you feel that way?
Because of the darkness. I feel like, in my opinion, hypo stuff goes so well with dark stuff. I mean, GHI hypo is a great example of that. GHI hypo adults look fantastic. I have quite a few of them. Actually, I have one girl that's like probably 4,500 grams, just a monster, and she looks great.
Purple gray glow.
Yeah, exactly. Purple gray is a greenish tint in between, and she's beautiful still. And I feel like the problem is I love DG, but I feel like with DG, it kind of takes almost away of the dark stuff. Like they kind of combat a little bit, and whereas like hypo almost helps accentuate the darkness because it has that great contrast. So I feel like as an adult, it would look a lot better.
Yeah, that's like when I think of things like 5-10 years out of what I'm working on, I'm like, all right, this part's cool. The pattern's cool. The colors are cool. How do I keep that contrast as we go through? And I think Leopard does an amazing job with it. I've only seen a few spot noses with in super gravel combos, but I think that's a good answer. So darkening the darks, and then I think it needs that finish on it. Like you say, whether it's thank you for the input on the hypo, and whether it's that or some other something that will keep that contrast. So I'm excited to work it, and I think I still think the possibilities are just wide.
I'm actually working in a complete different project now with the super gravel stuff. I talked about it a little bit on our podcast, but long story short, I actually found out rainbow is in all of my gravel stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So I made highway rainbow. I made a gravel combo rainbow. I just made another gravel combo rainbow. So
I saw you post about it, but I didn't realize it was in all your gravel stuff.
I wasn't sure that they were for sure rainbow. So I did it the old-fashioned way. I guess there's no shed test for rainbow.
Right.
I talked to Charlie. He's working on it, but it's at the moment there's no test for it.
Trust me, I bang on his door every time I talk to him. I'm like, dude. Well, obviously his banner's right below your face there, but like, I don't even know. I have one of only two that I know of, but I have a rainbow clown female. And
really?
Yeah, she's like 6 months to a year. I mean, she's probably at 1,100 grams right now. I'm not going to breed her right now this year, but oh man, you tell me you have rainbow in your gravel stuff. We're gonna have to.
Yeah, I'm pairing for hopefully to make a super gravel this year. I'm actually literally paired like right now. I have the male in there, so I think that'd be cool with the contrast there. With the purples and stuff like that, especially with GHI in the mix.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be really
really darken that up a lot. How long have you? Okay, so you said that the rainbow kind of was a surprise. Have you been actively working? I just
confirmed it this year.
Yeah.
So, or I guess late last year, like end of last year. But I guess I made two animals 2 years ago. I thought they were rainbow, but I wasn't sure. So I ended up buying a Disco Fire Het Rainbow female, and then bred the original dad back to her just to test it. And sure enough, I made a rainbow.
Yeah.
So now I have to go back with everything, and hopefully I'm trying to still breed stuff the old fashioned way. But obviously, if there's a shed test that eventually comes out, it'll make my life a lot easier.
I know, man. I've got that female, and then I have 4 female visual clowns that are 66% het rainbow, and then same thing with 2.2 of pieds that are all 66% het rainbow from the same breeder. And I'm like, how many like pos het rainbow? Because they're from double hets that have been bred,
sure.
And they just happen to hit one, the double visual eventually, finally. But I'm excited, man. That's cool.
Yeah, this is like for me, it's it has nothing to do with the money thing at all. It's more so like I'm fascinated by it. So I just want to see how it looks.
Yeah,
I would imagine the contrast is going to be so nice with that, especially with the super gobble form because it's so dark. And I'm hoping it brings out a lot of those purples in there. And
yeah. I think it would have to, and Rainbow leans so much to like those actual
brings out the really bright oranges,
the bright like the traffic cone orange, not like albino orange or some of the other like little bit orange. Like it's orange, man. And I think that the dark jeans going into that will just has to just accentuate that orange, man. I mean I got to think anyway. I think it'll be very cool.
No, I'm excited for that. So hopefully I get lucky this year. We'll see.
I hope you do, man. I want to see it. I want to buy some, but I want to see it too, man. I'll send you a picture of that. That clown rainbow girl. She's, like I say, she's probably at 1,100 grams right now, but I'm not even getting an ultrasound that near her. I get her up to size, So, okay. With all that build up, what was the story? What was your story with Sunset? What caught your eye? What made you go, I'm going to do that? I feel like, Steven shows up apropos time. I feel like there was like all this craze for Sunset, and then there was this, all it does is brown out. And then like, here comes Justin and you're like, yeah, but you could do this with it. And suddenly it's like, it's super cool, man.
What I like about it, it's not just a pattern trait, but it's also a color trait too. So there's, it's a lot of versatile. There's a lot more you can do with it. And I like the pattern of a lot. I think it's super funky. I think those rusty orange tones that it has is like the key to making a, orangish reddish color snake, because that's the one color we don't really have in a ball python. So we don't really have much red. So I feel like that can contribute with the right genes anyway. Getting those reddish snakes that we all want to make.
Yeah,
and I think the potential is there. Just figuring out what the right combo is. But even then, like oranges, it goes so well with the orange stuff. Like obviously the Sunset Ultramel stuff. That's probably my favorite project, of course. They just age so well. I have actually the first female I made. She's almost a year old actually.
I was going to say,
she just hit a year old, but she's around 1,000 grams now.
Okay.
And she looks, just as good as she did as a baby.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about that. And then, I made 3 others as well last year. So 4 total, and 2 of them being combos. So I'm really happy. One was yellow belly, and then the other was fire yellow belly. And it's also het pied too. So to boot. So I think the Sunset Ultramel pied is another project I'm working on. So I think that's going to be really cool. I just made some cool Sunset pied stuff as well. So I like those a lot.
I saw the posts on those. It it looks like it holds the one I saw anyhow was fairly low white, and it looked like it actually held its pattern better than a lot of pied really stuff. Like the problem with pieds is it just washes stuff out, right?
Yeah, it did. I actually made 3. I got super lucky on this last clutch. I did 4 eggs, only made it. Cut all 4 eggs, and then 2 sunsets and 2 sunset pieds. So I got super lucky on that clutch. So 3 sunset pieds total. One of them's insane looking. I'm actually waiting for it to shed out so I can take a picture. But super bright, honestly. Like a lot of yellow to them, a lot of orange. So I'm super excited about that. I actually made a some special sunset stuff too. Those are really, really orange as well. I posted a picture of one of those. So I'm super. It's just there's not really been much done. I feel like with sunset still, like as far as just like base codom stuff, like taste recessive and stuff like that. And like clown and obviously Ultramel, DG, stuff like that. But like just base codominant stuff, I feel like there's not been a whole lot been done yet. So.
Somebody throws $10 in the jar. We gotta answer the question. What gene are you most excited for to get into Sunset? By 2027, and a calendar year kind of deal. And that's Chris at BNS Reptilia is asking.
So my goal for 27. I'll be honest. Sometimes I don't always think that far ahead. I'm focused on 26 right now. But I feel like to answer it as far as for 26, my goal is to do. Actually, I do have the answer for that, and I said, but to finish what I was saying, for 26, I missed this year. I want to get calico into it.
Okay.
Really badly. I've had 4 shots at it, missed every time. So hopefully this is the year for the calico. And then and Pied, I have shots of the triple visual Sunset Ultra Pied this year. As far as for 27, I'll be able to add red stripe and spot nose in there. So hopefully like this with the calico, I think because spot nose and calico are made for each other. They look so well, especially the spot nose calico Sunset. So making the Ultramel version of that, I'm really excited. And back to we're talking about the reds and oranges from Sunset. I think Ultramel or the red stripe in there is really going to take that to the next level. Trying to think what else.
Well, now a lot of the jeans you had been mentioning were like lightning, brightening jeans.
Yeah.
But then I heard you mention spot nose, and then red stripe is some of my favorite red stripes have almost the black pixelation in them as well. So that can have a darkening effect. What's your thought on or what's your goal with mixing those together that way?
As far as like the dark stuff?
Well, I didn't phrase that very well. It sounded like on Sunset, you mostly focus on brightening it. And then I heard like 2 outliers of darkening jeans. So,
let me rephrase that. So I also like dark stuff too. Like GHS Sunset stuff I love.
Yeah, okay.
And that's another one I missed on. I missed on the GHS Sunset Ultramel also.
Okay.
And I really want to hit that as well. And I love GHS. I just made some GHS Sunset. Like I have an adult female actually now. She's a Het DG. And I'm braiding her, and she looks like a rusty copper color. So I really like that. And that's what another thing that interests me is Sunset so much. Like if you can go the bright route, the light route, but you can also go the dark route with the contrast too, and they all look so good together. So I'm really excited. I guess to add to his question before also is hypo with the GHI, because hypo and GHI go so well together. Hypo and Sunset go so well together. So I think hypo GHI Sunset is going to be fantastic.
Very nice. Have we seen a hypo Sunset yet or not yet?
Yeah, there've been a couple made.
I thought that they were out there. I do this thing where if I'm not working a jean, like I don't go exploring because I go broke if I go exploring and I fall in love with something new, So it's like if I don't have it or I'm not working it, I generally don't go, stocking different things on Morph Market. So some of the stuff I'm not as up on as I should be.
Since the hypo stuff made it, they're really nice. They're super pretty.
Now, Sunset as a base jean, which is predictable after a long enough period of time, that's starting to be attainable with a lower, let's just say what it is, less expensive, lower barrier to entry. If somebody were interested in Sunset, now they can, what would be your strategy on it, and what codoms would you have them target just out of the gate? Or maybe recessives too. I mean, what in the mindset of a reasonable accessibility for hobby breeders?
I think it was 2 sets. Because it always depends on what people themselves like. Some people like the lighter stuff with Sunset. Some people like the darker stuff. As far as if it's completely up to me, I really like the GHS Sunset stuff a lot. It's the path that most people don't take, the darker route. Yeah, and I really like that stuff too. But if you want to play it more on the safe side, for the lighter stuff, the special that I just made, I really like that direction. Yeah. I think there's so much potential with that, with just special alone. Special yellow belly, special spot nose, special orange dream, et cetera, et cetera. I think those are really going to be really, really cool examples with that. And like you were saying before, exactly, it's Sunset has, finally after, this many years, finally dropped just below the $1,000 mark. So I definitely think it opens a whole new doors of people, to get into that project. Whereas, for a lot of people, $1,000 and up, it's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money,
into a project, but once you get below that, it's a lot of people, it changes their mindset on things. But like, all right, that is attainable for me. So I definitely think in the next few years, 2026, 2027, we're going to see a lot more cooler stuff made, and hopefully I'm a part of at least a little bit of that.
I think you already are, man. I will say that. Speaking of $10 in the jar, we got Stephen Leviathan. Yeah, man, you can't. I'm glad you came in at the right time, Stephen.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
The Sunset Chats. Funny bit of trivia: the very first picture I ever posted on Instagram was of a sunset Steven picked up at Daytona. I was like, I don't have anything worth posting. I'm going to post his sunset.
Yeah.
I took a picture of his sunset. All right. This is an interesting topic just to, riff on for a second here. What do you think of Sunset Axanthic? Does that defeat the purpose of it, or is that a whole new avenue?
I think it's a whole new avenue. Because at the end of the day, I'm a big believer in if you don't know until you try.
Right.
So I feel like it could be really cool. I personally don't have hets for it yet. I've been focused on so many other stuff, but that is a project I want to do quite soon. But my direction is probably going to be either a triple. So I'm either going to do Sunset DG Exanthic or Sunset Hypo Exanthic. So obviously, like, Sunset Exanthic, I think itself is going to go up, but with what I have, it's probably going to be more so triple based. And I just think it's a lot of cool, like, Trugo stuff and DG Exanthic stuff. I think there's a lot of potential there. So if you can get like that sunset pattern, but with like, those Exanthic DG clusters, I think that could be a really cool looking snake.
Yeah. I hadn't thought much about it, especially like, it's funny how the names like affect our view. Like when I hear something called sunset, of course, well, you're thinking about the color of it. And then you put it in with Exanthic, but, and I take it again, I don't follow everything, but I take it we haven't seen that yet.
No, as far as I know, I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
Unless someone's hiding one, but as far as I know, it has not been made. I know there's people that have chances, I believe this year, and people that have hets and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll see it soon.
Right. I mean, and certainly somebody out there somewhere is breeding some double hets together going, come on, just give me just one, I mean, somebody out there is going to hit at it. Let me, you know what? Let me pay some bills. And then I got two last sort of question topics to take us home. One being, what are you not working that you like to work, or that you're waiting to sort of see if it speaks to you? That'll be the one thing. And then ever since I was a kid, man, as long as you've been breeding ball pythons, I've been into pro wrestling. I get this picture from Jeremy Bod one day, and he goes, look at this. And I go, what's Justin up to? He goes, Justin, don't look at that guy. And I look, and you're holding a snake in front of Kevin Owens' face, man. I got to hear this story. So like I said, let me pay some bills real quick. We'll get to that. Audience, stick around for just a moment, and we'll get right back with Justin Weinrich from Morph Jungle. Guys, a few groups, companies really take care of us here at Proper Royals. Keep the lights on, keep me coming to you every week. That's all these folks I'm about to tell you. They're from within our industry, supporting, taking care of the industry. Do me a favor, check them out. It's the least you can do. And if you find something that you like, support them. I give you my word that they're good people. There's a lot of people I've said no thank you to working with, and these folks I'm so proud to work with. If you missed the announcement at the very beginning, this Friday the 13th, 4 p.m. Eastern time, I will be on Palm Street. It's time to make way for the new hatchlings. I'm going to be clearing out a lot of the shop. 40, I think I counted 42 today. 42 animals I'm going to list, and with a starting bid of $1. We are going to move these. No jokes, no gimmicks. It's not like I'm going to have one that starts at $1. All of them. Let's move them out of there. I got breeder males, breeder females, visual pieds, visual clowns, visual Exanthics, visual ultramels. It's all going to be on there. So I hope to see you Palm Street, 4 p.m. Eastern on Friday the 13th. In the meantime, check out Redline Shipping. I still love Redline for their service. I love that you can call their phone number that is published and listed, and a reptile owner, enthusiast, caregiver will talk you through the process of shipping, talk you through the process of temperatures. They also sell the supplies on their website. The user interface is great. Check out Redline Shipping. Use a promo code PROPER5 for $5 off your next shipping label. Earlier, Justin and I were talking about breeding the old way. You don't have to breed the old way with shed testing. You don't have to hold back all your possible hets. You can shed test now, well over 40 genes. If there's a gene that you're looking for not listed, get in touch with Charlie. You can email him through the site at shedtesting.com. Also, in the near future, you're going to see that brand transform into phenome.com. Phenome.com already exists. That'll redirect you over to shedtesting.com for your shed testing needs. But that is still Charlie Williams behind the scenes, handling all the shed testing, handling the relationships with the lab and with the high standards of scientific accuracy on that. He's recently lowered his prices. You can get a full recessive panel, 10 recessive tests, one animal, $85. That's $8.50 per test. You could hold back less. You could get to your goals faster. Go check out shedtesting.com. Use the promo code PROPER10. Get yourself 10% off of 2 orders of shed tests, not 2 individual tests, 2 orders. You can order as many tests as you want per order, and it's 10% off of that. Check that out. Speaking of the Florida crew, Sundog Serpents, that's Sarah and Josh. They're outside of Orlando, but let's just say Orlando, keep it simple. Check them out. They are really great friends from when I was living there and vending with them. Sarah and I vended several shows together. We have bought and sold animals to and from each other. I have one of their Het Monsoons right now. We're working on Clown Monsoon project this year, which is pretty fun. And I tell you that stuff because I trust them and I wouldn't work with people that I didn't trust. Check them out for your TSK Xanthic needs. I know they work at TSK Clown combos. I believe they have some Stranger Clown hypo, either ingredients or actual visuals available. They also deal in asphalt and super asphalt projects. So please go check out my good friends at Sundog Serpents. Reagan Renee Royal Pythons, that's Charlie Ryan up in New Jersey. Go check out ReaganRenee.com. You don't have to put the Royal Pythons on the end. ReaganRenee.com. All of his inventory is there. It's all free shipping if you buy through ReaganRenee.com. If you need even a sweeter deal, use the promo code Proper10. Get yourself 10% off just for hanging out here on the Proper Royals live show. And then on top of that, he's got these cool value-added calculators. He is an analytics junkie, and he has put together some calculators that are pretty fun to help you make some decisions from or considerations from a financial standpoint. Obviously, you can't predict what the market's going to be, but if you put in a price range and take into account the odds and the various likelihoods and what it'll cost you to test what you need to test, he could give you an outlook of what financial considerations to make when you're making pairings. Pretty cool value proposition, especially when it's free, but pretty neat to consider. And I don't think that exists anywhere else. So that is ReaganRenee.com. Go check that out. Again, Reagan Renee Royal Pythons is the full brand on that. Keeper Kane is a YouTube channel. That's Kane and Michelle Fritz Wallace. They are down in Tennessee, and the Keeper Kane YouTube channel right here on YouTube. You're already here. You figured out how to get here. You could go check out Keeper Kane after the show. Documents all of their animals, their escapades with their animals, and Kane breeds ball pythons. He keeps big snakes, he keeps tarantulas, he keeps aquatics. It's all breeds rodents too. It's all documented there on the Keeper Kane channel, and it is always guaranteed to be family friendly. You might not be allowed to watch it at work, but you won't get fired for watching it at work. How about that? Does that make sense? Anyway, it's always clean content there for you as well. Last but not least, I mentioned him earlier, is Chris at BNS Reptilia. Chris is my vending partner at Tinley. We own several animals together, including that rainbow clown I mentioned earlier. So we got some stuff cooking up here for the long run for sure. Chris is BNS Reptilia because he not only breeds ball pythons, but deals in blood pythons, locality, boas, colubrids of all shapes and sizes, pituophis, the bull snakes, the pine snakes. And he's got the permit and educational information to make sure that you are good to have them where you live and in your own locality to make sure that it's legal and safe. Go check out Chris. I couldn't be more thankful. He's the original advertiser on Proper Royals, and he's still here all these years later. Thank you so much. And this whole content is coming to you ad-free. You didn't have to see an ad to join tonight. You didn't, if you're watching on the replay, you haven't had to see an ad once. That's from the good friends there at Palm Street. We're hanging out with Justin Weinrich tonight from Morph Jungle down in Boca Raton. If you've missed up to this point, you should go check it out. We talk business, we talk pairings, pairing philosophies, sunset stuff, lots of cool stuff. I promise 2 topics. I got to make sure I remember them. But Justin, what gene don't you have that's either on your radar that you're like, I got to know about this, or that you're like, I don't know, it's got potential, but I haven't seen it yet? Or how do you go about that when there's a new gene? Like what's your process on when and whether to invest?
I mean, there is definitely some cool stuff, out there. Like as far as like majority of what's out there, I'll be honest, I work with mostly everything I want to work with. Mm-hmm. I would say the only biggest conception in the newest one is obviously shout out to Jeremy. It'd probably be Tornado. I definitely think there's some cool potential there. That's a really cool, funky looking animal, especially being recessive based snake. I feel like there's a lot of potential there because not only is it a pattern gene, but it's a darker trait. And, me being a GHI guy, I'm really drawn to that. So I think that it's going to have a really cool contrast with stuff like Ultramel and Hypo.
Right.
And, I think the sky's the limit for that kind of stuff. I think it'd be really, really, really nice.
And that's going to take a while, like you say, it being a recessive base.
That's what's nice about it, though.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while. So it's going to stay at, up there at a certain point for a long time, and it's going to, there's the downside too is it's going to take a long time, obviously, to see those cool combinations, but it'll be worth it for sure.
Right. And I do think there'll be a lot of people. Well, there's going to have to be some pricing adjustment before a lot of people do anything with it. But and that's a natural market. I'm not. Kudos, Jeremy. Of anybody I want to see get rich, go get rich, Jeremy. I'm down. That's cool. Yeah. So no issues there whatsoever. But also like I think there's going to be, even just from Jeremy, there's going to be tons of POS hets. There's no tests for it. Who knows where it's floating around? He just identified it popping up out of nowhere in his life. So I think we're going to see some cool stuff with it and cool things that like the story you told with the rainbow in your gravel. Like it's out there. We got to see that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think it'll be cool to see what, there's no doubt that it's cool, but from your experienced breeder eye, what could you describe it for people that haven't seen the tornado yet? And then what parts of that kind of speak to you or excite you as far as that goes?
To me, it's like a recessive confusion combo in a way. Like I feel like it's like a mixture between because it's a granite pattern, so it's like super funky, crazy. It's like a mixture between like a granite chyme gene and like a paint and like confusion together. To me, that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
But it's just like dark, and it's like a mixture of those three, and it's recessive. So I think that's what the biggest thing it comes from is the recessive point of it too. It's like, it's really pattern changing combo. It's really overpowering. And I think, especially with being darker colors, like I think there's so much potential for it. And I really like it. I really do.
Yeah. Very cool.
I think it's fascinating.
I think the analogy you made to paint with it is very strong. It is like paint on turbo.
It's hard to compare to one exact snake, because it's like a mixture of a couple of different ones together.
Yeah, very cool. And he's got several now, doesn't he? I mean, he's done a good job of holding most of them back. I know there's a few people that are
two adults now, and I know he sold one visual, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've only heard of the one that's out there, and I'll leave that to other people's business. But all good people involved in, as I understand it. But I don't want to misspeak on anybody's behalf of who has what. But he brings it. Does he bring them out to the regional shows in Florida? I know he brings them out at Tinley.
Yeah, not really. I think just because the value of the animal.
I get it. Yeah,
out there. I mean, he may have. I know he brought some to Daytona.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Mostly it's like local shows and stuff. It's not worth it.
No. That's an interesting thing too. We'll come back to you versus other people. You have some very expensive animals. Let's call them what they are. I think 22,000 I saw today. And how does, hypothetically, without naming names, how does a sale like that happen? There's got to only be a handful of people, relatively speaking, that are going to pop up that can do that. Or am I wrong? Or they're just strangers where you're like, I don't even know who this person is, and boom, like, I mean, is there, who knows?
Usually
where people
not at that kind of value.
Yeah.
Usually, like, I've been surprised before, with multi $5,000 snakes, absolute strangers for sure, just like the way it looked.
Yeah.
That's possible too. But that kind of animal is usually not a channel that's going to sell at a show. If it is, it's going to be one of two shows. It's going to be either Tinley or it's going to be Daytona.
Yeah, exactly.
For me personally, especially with the higher end animals, in my experience anyway, it's been mostly online stuff.
Yeah, because people know about those animals.
Exactly.
Like, they're not just wandering around and stumble into it at 10. Like it was on their radar anyway.
Exactly.
Right?
So like realistically, like, you could say it was sold at the show, but whether you would have brought it to the show or not, it was probably going to sell online. They just wanted to probably see it in person.
Yeah.
So they obviously, most of the time with those kind of animals, like you're saying, they didn't just stumble across at that show. They knew exactly where that snake was. They knew exactly where you had it, and they came over to you to see it.
Yeah. When did you? So I worked in a world where, like, literally there were people that were like, oh, we'll take the helicopter over to the restaurant. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I know firsthand everything is relative. There were some bottles of wine, it didn't matter what price I put on them, and it wasn't going to be discussed, and it was a significant portion of my salary for that year. Like, they were expensive. Like, did you ever have like a moment in your time where you were like, yeah, I'm going to breed these super high-end things, somebody will pay for them? Like, because in my mind, there's like, I don't know, there doesn't seem like enough demand. And okay, I do produce this thing. Then what the hell do I do with it? Like, was there like a moment where like your confidence switched, or like a first one that sticks out in your mind where you're like, okay, let me shift some gears here a little bit? Because obviously that's a purposeful decision to produce.
Yeah.
That animal I'm talking about, is that a yellow belly ultramel sunset that I'm talking about? Yeah, that's
so that kind of stuff. It's not necessarily, again, it's not really the money thing for me. It's more so I physically like it. I really like it. It really does something to me. And it just so happens that it's a valuable project, but I didn't do it because it was a valuable project, shall I say?
Okay,
it's more so a coincidence in that fact. Like,
that's a good decision.
Like that project.
Yeah, excuse me, a good distinction, not good.
Yeah.
I
genuinely like it. It makes people that don't like sunset.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I wouldn't say I disliked sunset, but I never felt like, man, I need to figure out how to get a hold of one of those. So now I'm like, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good sunset, man. That's a pretty good looking animal, for the record, I'm not the $22,000 guy, but and audience, if you're watching this in the future, prices change. What Justin sells his animal for is no judgment of mine. That is not the point of this conversation. Is the point of, if for me, it would take a significant mindset shift to go, like Steven and I debate this all the time. I'm like, what's the problem with selling $300 to $800 animals? I can make a really, really good, steady income on that. And he's like, you should sell these high-end things. It's way less of a headache and less overhead and this and that, so it's just different paths on the road. And I didn't know if there was like an aha moment or one of the animals that really gave you confidence at some point in time where you're like, oh yeah, I'll do this.
I mean, for me, honestly, I do both ends of the spectrum. I do a lot of the, like you said, $300 to $800 animals. A lot of those, most of that stuff's for show based or easy online stuff, and I do the higher end stuff too. I think it's nice to have a balance of everything. I think that's super important, especially from a business standpoint. Yeah, you have to appeal every range of customer you possibly can, because at the end of the day, not everyone's going to be able to afford that $2,000, $3,000 snake, and some of those people are only looking for those snakes. They don't want the lower end stuff, so you have to I want to sell to both of them. I don't want to just pick and choose. So I think for me, that's, my strategy for that.
Yeah. That probably speaks closest to my heart. I've probably the highest end animals I produced with some ultramel clowns that were awesome. And I still love them.
They're
and I still want to produce them forever. I held back 5 of them, man. Like I'm pumped about them. But having that range and having somebody that one day is able to buy, starts with a leopard banana clown, and then 2 years later is like, how do I get on the list for one of those ultramel clowns? You're like,
absolutely.
That's how that relationship and world should work, I think, anyway.
No, exactly. It's a stepping stone kind of process. We've had this conversation. I've had this conversation with Steve and Jeremy and Dale and Miguel, before, talking about that. Like, these people coming into this hobby, they're not going to, they're not these $3,000, $2,000, whatever snakes right now. They're probably looking into this, getting their feet wet and those, lower animals. But that's what hooks them, right? They learn this, start learning about genetics, start doing more research. Then they, get on to the next stage. Let's say they buy $1,000 snake. Then they start learning more. They get more and more invested, learning more about genetics. Then eventually they move on and up and up and up. So, like, having those lower animals, it's like, not only is it just for the pet market, but also like a stepping stone too.
Yeah, I think that there's a early hobby breeder stage.
For sure.
That's really fulfilling. Like, to this day, I say it a lot, but to this day, hatching banana clown is freaking incredible, man. Like, that's an incredible looking animal just to start off with. Yeah. And so, like, if somebody can get excited about that, and then, their sort of palate evolves, so to speak, I think it's super cool. Anyway, and many people, it's been discussed ad nauseum, many people, different ways to go about things. But for me, that's an exciting way to go about it. Did you, from building your collection over a long period of time now, did you build from cash flow you made from selling animals? Did you take a loan? Did you, pack out a credit card? What was kind of your model in going from those GHIs and calicos to sunsets at some point in your time?
I mean, a lot of this honestly was, everything I made back when I did a hobby went right back into it.
Yeah.
Every single dollar for the most part. I mean, I was also young too. So like, I didn't really need much, I was fortunate. Obviously I was young. I didn't have no bills,
Yeah.
You
were living at home.
So I didn't need the money.
Right.
I had small jobs and I used that for money. I was in school, I didn't really care about none of that stuff. So I just took everything I had back into it, and it took a long time.
Yeah.
But here we are.
I think it's, man, I think it's very cool. And I had a moment. I was at Mark Mandick's place. He was hosting us, and I was like just standing in his backyard. He's got this beautiful like little paradise set up back there, and he's got amazing snakes. And I was like, man, what am I even doing? Like, what am I even screwing around with if this guy's in the game? And then like I remember talking to him, I was like, Mark, how long did it take you to get this all together? And he's like, what do you mean, the backyard or the house or the snakes? I was like, all of it. He's like, oh, like 30 years. I was like, oh, I got time. Okay. That puts it in perspective, like that's what people, it's not the glamorous, immediate smash hit. It's the long-term tortoise.
No, absolutely. I mean, I have some customers I've talked to, the biggest thing is, it doesn't happen overnight and you can't expect it to. And like some people get frustrated because, I think that's also part of the reason why, back to our earlier conversation, why certain people gotten out of this industry.
Oh yeah.
Super high expectations right out the gate. And the end of the day, it just doesn't work like that. Nothing in real life works like that.
Not really. Exactly.
It's slow. It's a crawl. You gotta be into it and you gotta work at it. And with time, you 100% get there. But if you expect it to happen in a year, it's just not gonna work out.
No, I'd say that ball pythons teach me patience, and I suck at patience, man. It's but it's fun and it's enticing, and I'm still just I'm still thoroughly excited about it all. Okay, tell me about this Kevin Owens story, man. How was this something you knew was coming, or he just popped up at the expo? Or
I'll be completely honest. Back then, so when I first met him, he came to Orlando Expo. I have no idea who he was.
Yeah,
I watch wrestling.
He always seems like an actual down to earth dude.
He's a super cool guy. Yeah. Miguel's actually the one who told me about him.
Yeah, after he'd been at your table.
No, he was already he introduced. He asked him like, "Are you Kevin Owens?" He's like, "Yeah." And he was talking, and I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
But long story short, super cool dude. Basically went there, so we starting to just get into reptiles. Obviously you watch wrestling, so he got injured, so he's kind of just just chilling right now.
Yep.
He saw a snake I had on the table. It was a super GHI Desert Ghost Het Sunset female, actually.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, it was a $5,500 snake, and he liked it. He wanted it as a pet.
Did he buy it?
He bought it.
Oh man, congratulations! That's cool.
So that was really cool.
Does he stay in touch, or you?
Yeah, no, actually, I consider him. He's a buddy of mine now. I talk to him every now and then.
Damn.
I just saw him. Yeah, I invited him out to. Well, I told him about Daytona, so he came by Daytona, bought some stuff there, and then I texted him a couple weeks ago about the Reptile Nation show in Tampa, and I had him come. I brought him out a vendor badge and stuff.
Oh,
so
cool.
I got him and his daughter in the show. And he looked around, bought some stuff. Like he's getting different stuff. He got some green trees now. He has some boas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, but he told me, and he said he's got 3 boas. He's got a couple green trees. He just bought his daughter a sulfur water monitor.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then he said, I got 2 he got 2 snakes for me. He's like, I need another one, so I'm gonna come see you in Tampa. In 2 weeks, so that's nice. So he's gonna come up down there too. So super cool guy, super nice guy. Super down to earth guy. So I enjoy hanging out with him. Actually, he was trying to buy me and my fiance drinks in Tampa.
Nice.
We just got around to drinks. We're like, but I appreciate it. No, he's super cool.
Tell him when he's up here in Minneapolis for SummerSlam too. I'll give him.
I'll
show him around, man. Tell him he's got a fan if he doesn't have enough already, man.
He's a super cool dude. You know, he's exciting because he's really starting to understand our thoughts. I mean, I will say it's unfortunate. Some people definitely took advantage of him with the green tree stuff, though. He got someone swore up and down. Oh, they're captive bred, all that. He texted me, he said both of them died. Took them to the vet. They got parasites and all that. So it's kind of a shame dealing with that kind of stuff too. It's like people, you learn that other people in the industry unfortunately take up, advantage of others that just don't know any better. And I think it's why it's really important to buy, quality animals, no matter the species, no matter where it comes from, and know the source of these animals too is super important.
That and the people behind them.
Yes.
I probably naively, I feel like the industry / hobby has gotten cleaner and a little bit higher standards, but I certainly am not going to go shouting out any names on this, but
we know.
Yeah. But there are vendors on that circuit that you and I could nod about afterwards where we would go, I wouldn't touch that guy's snakes. I wouldn't have dinner with that guy. I wouldn't shake his hand if he comes. Anyway, and it sucks because they're out there and there's not much really to do about it. And they've been at it for a long time. So anyway, I'll leave that be. That's really cool. Thanks for sharing that story, man.
Absolutely.
That's real cool, man. That's real cool. I apologize. You mentioned your fiance. Remind me of her name. Sam, I always see her vending with you for the longest time. She always says hello. Obviously, she's your fiance, so things are going well. That's good. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up earlier, and I was like, I don't know her name. I don't know if they're the guy.
I was
like, okay, that's not a good thing to bring up. But always similarly very cool and kind to say hello and everything whenever I see you guys. So, you mentioned a couple shows coming up. Where can people see you both in person and online? How do they get in touch with you? All that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as far as online, Morph Market, Instagram, Facebook, all under Morph Jungle. And then as far as shows coming up, next weekend I'll be in the Reptilian Nation show in West Palm, Valentine's Day weekend. And then the following weekend I'll be in Tampa Repticon. And then for March, I'll be in Tinley. So those are about the next 3 that are coming up the soonest anyway.
That's a pretty sweet lineup. That's a nice, a nice 5 weeks right there, man.
Yeah, I just got finished with I did 3 in a row just recently, so that was a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Nice little break is nice, and then back to the grind.
You caravanning up with the guys up to Tinley again?
Yeah, Steve and Jeremy are coming up there. We split it 3 ways, so it's not terrible. For me, total, it's about 21 hours. About 4 hours to Steve's. Jeremy and Steve, they live within 30 minutes of each other. So it's like 4 hours over there, and then it's like 17 from his house. So,
all right. I always worry about you guys. Be safe on that road, man. That top heavy sprinter going down the highway, man. Be safe in that. Give my best to all those guys. Every word I said I meant. Those are some real aces that you hang out with, and they were real special to me. So I miss seeing you guys on the circuit. I got to get back down there and come visit sometime. Yeah. I'll see you in Tinley. Thanks for doing the show. I appreciate it. And audience, go check out Morph Jungle when you get a chance. I'll be here, same place, same time next week, 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. Justin, thanks so much, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.